Hi everyone, and welcome to the Love Island recap with Pi Radio. It has been a crazy weekend, and I'm joined today with Carlos. My name is Sophie Wall.
Yeah,
Go for it.
unfortunately, I'm not Kieran Elliott.
Oh,
I'm
no.
really sorry to disappoint all the Kieran stands, but he is unfortunately on holiday in Cornwall at the moment.
Yes,
So
he is indeed.
hopefully it's a bit better weather there than it is here.
I know, and do you know what? Maybe we'll have a better time here than
Yeah.
Kieran is having in Cornwall right now.
Yeah, I'm hoping he records some BTS, like some beat shots, and come back to like a nice tan.
Yes.
I think I need to see the return of the what's called drawn abs as well.
Yes, me too, absolutely. So it's been a crazy, absolutely madness of a weekend of Love Island. And I would honestly go as far as to say that Friday's episode was one of the bestest episodes I have ever seen in my entire life. I'm not talking just Love Island. I mean, this tops where the train fell off the top of the tracks at Encore. I don't even know if you ever watched that, but it was absolutely madness. Like, I watched it with my mum, my brother, and my boyfriend, and I didn't breathe. I actually didn't breathe the whole episode. Like, I finished the episode finished and I was out of breath.
You know what is most annoying? I was out, so I didn't watch it live. So if I'm being honest, I've only watched it like piecemeal because I got back on like Friday night, like obviously like a bit drunk and that, and like really tired, but I obviously knew like what was going down.
Yeah.
So I like sat myself in front of the TV, but I was just drifting in and out and like literally like not really understanding what was going on. I'm just so annoyed because I know that it was like such a good episode. But
yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. So there was the recoupling, and obviously we're going to do it in the way that it's like the journey of each couple throughout Friday and Sunday's episode rather than us just getting mixed up, because there has been so much that has happened that it would just be impossible for us to kind of go through and talk about it willy-nilly.
Yeah.
So the first couple the first person to stand up was Chloe, and she recoupled with Dale.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of happy for Chloe in a sense because disagree.
I don't know, like obviously like I feel like it was kind of like the best of a bad bunch.
Yeah.
Not that any of the Casa Amor boys were bad per se, but at the same time, Dale wasn't fully invested in her.
No,
Like,
and they had that chat, didn't they? And he was like, I want to get to know Faye. And you know what? I am happy for her in a sense that she kind of got to recouple with somebody else. And there is somebody in there that she does have a little bit of a connection with, rather than just being stood there on her own after being mugged off by poor Toby. But yeah, I mean, we'll see where them two kind of go, because we all know what happened last night, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah. We've also got a comment from Stephane saying, hi, guys. So,
hey.
Hi. Big up,
Hello.
I know you were who was commenting on Friday loads, so big up, keep the comments coming in.
Ask questions, let us know what you think of each couple, etc. So obviously Hugo came back in with Amy. What's your thoughts on them as a couple?
It's just a bit like, obviously no one's really much of a fan of Hugo anymore, and they have reason to be. Fair enough. I wouldn't go as far as to be mean towards him, but I get why people like aren't necessarily feeling him that much anymore. However, I do obviously still want him to be happy, and I want him to find someone because I obviously feel sorry that he hasn't found anyone yet.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that the situation with Amy is actually legit, like you say. But the thing is, it's impossible to tell because at the end of the day, I know. The thing is because they watch it before, because you can tell by the way they're talking about it, they know exactly what's been going on.
Yeah.
So Amy will know that Hugo is like a sure bet.
Yeah, and it's like an easy kind of person to target when you go in there, to know that you're going to get into the main villa. So it's hard to know sometimes what people's intentions are. However, I did see on Twitter that somebody said that the body language that Amy gives towards Hugo during kisses and conversations in Casa Amor and inside the villa, they've basically said that like that is the sign of like an absolute ick, but like a fake kind of, she's got the pure ick against him. So I hope that she doesn't, because everybody wants Hugo to have somebody. However, I'm not too sure. I'm really not too sure it's legit.
Do you know what it is as well? Is that Hugo wasn't even her first choice. Remember, Hugo asked or wanted to share a bed with her on the first night, and she went for Tyler.
She went for Tyler.
So
I feel like maybe the kind of Casa Amor vibe was, okay, let's get in the villa first. And I feel like if any other lads come in, she's going to be pouncing straight on them. That is just my prediction. And I feel like it's nothing against Hugo. It's just that I feel like she's gone in for the wrong reasons and not for Hugo as a person. But do you know what? What was that girl called who went home? Because she was amazing. Who was really up for Hugo. So sometimes you can feel sorry for Hugo, but then in other times you can think, well, you know.
AJ.
Was it AJ? No, the other one. The blonde girl.
Oh, Georgie.
Georgie, that was her name.
Her Instagram captions are really funny, to give her credit.
Okay, okay, cool. I'll have a look on there in a bit. But yeah, like he's had many opportunities with girls. And you know, not to say that he should have gone with them if they're not his type, but I feel like after a bit, it's just a little bit like he's jumping from girl to girl all the time.
Yeah, I feel like it's like he's not really giving the girls the time of day. That's the thing. Like, it's one thing to be like, oh, this girl isn't my type, that's not my type, but at the end of the day, he's had a lot of different looking girls. So you gotta, at one stage, you gotta be like, surely one of them is at least semi like you're interested in, and you would at least maybe try to get to know them.
Absolutely. So the next two couple up was Abby. Abby stood up and she decided to stick. Abby girl, go and find your man. Like, there was 6 men in there that you could have explored the opportunity with. The same vibe. I've got to give the same energy from what we've been saying about Hugo then to Abby. Like, obviously, I know that they were only just getting to know each other, but go and find somebody. If you have a connection with them, then bring them and battle between the both. Like, he was never going to stay loyal, though, really, was he, Mr. Toby?
Yeah, like, the thing is as well, even before the postcard, I was a bit like, Abby, what are you doing? But then after the postcard, the fact that she was still just not even talking to any of the new people, like, I don't understand.
See, for me, I feel like Abby, the concept of men is that you lose them the same way that you found them. And if you've stole that person off somebody else, then you are gonna have your man stolen by the next person, like 9 times out of 10. And he came in with Mary quite.
Toby is actually like what's it called, 6-year-old in a 22-year-old's body.
Absolutely. Like. And I feel like with Toby as well, like I feel like I've really been on a journey with Toby, like, and my emotional feelings towards him. Like, I think at the start I was like, Toby's cool. He's, you know, he is who he is. We really like him. Then when the situation happened with Kaz and Chloe, I was like, don't like you. I hate you, like, in a nutshell. Like, okay, that's pretty far, but you know, I was just like, wow, you done that to my girl. And then obviously when the situation happened with Chloe and Abby, I was like, here he goes again. But then when he got into Casa Amor, I feel like the penny dropped a little bit, and I just thought, you know what, right? He's living his life.
Yeah.
Like, I take back all those things and those feelings that I felt about him, because he's actually really funny. Like, he's actually, I would vote him to win at this point.
I wouldn't go that far. However, I think it also comes down to, now that he's done it that many times, you kind of, and again, like we say, all the Islanders either have been inside the villa or they've been watching it beforehand.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting yourself into if you go with him. So I kind of don't necessarily feel sorry for him. Like, when it happened to Kaz, like, I was kind of like, obviously that was like the first time that it happened, and obviously we didn't know, and like, it was just a bit shit. But now any new girl that comes in and gets interested in Toby, like, you know what you're getting yourself in for. So therefore it has kind of turned it on its head, and it's kind of like, he is just kind of in there for our entertainment. Like, I've seen so many tweets that like, it's like Toby Island now. Like, it's you just wonder what's going on in his head. Like,
the thing is with Toby is he is literally treating Love Island like it is Iron Apple with his boys, like in and outside of the villa, whether it's Casa Amor or the villa. Like, nothing changes. He literally just treats this like a lad's holiday. And I feel like the more that the episodes and the season goes on, the more I think it's just Toby's world and we're living in it. Like, literally, I can't even deal with how much he's growing on me, and I'm not too sure why. And like you said, obviously with them girls, that they know what they're signing up for now because they know Toby's track record. However, I feel like Toby is really funny, and all like to the point where I don't think he even knows and understands that he is doing wrong. I remember when he came back after the recoupling and he was like, "You're a bad man." I was absolutely dying. He spoke about himself in third person, and he was like, oh, he was like, his head was gone. And I feel like we seen Toby's frontal brain farming.
You know what it was as well? Like before Casa Amor, when they did that what's it called, sports day, and like after he lost and he just went straight to the weights and stuff. I was just like, what goes, like, you know, you kind of do that. You like if someone was like literally like that is what a dickhead would do, you know what I mean? But it's like obviously like I don't think he understands that, like,
no, the concept at all.
Wait, okay. So we got a comment about Faye and Teddy here, but we'll wait till we get to them.
So Faye and Teddy are pretty far away.
But we'll get to that.
But we will get to that. So
the preview of tomorrow.
Oh yes, Toby. Absolutely. I mean,
for those of you that don't know, they're basically coming up tomorrow was just like shots of Mary and like so it was basically Toby narrating it. He was like, I came back from Casa Amor with Mary, and it shows a picture of Mary, but then Abby waited for me and it showed a picture of Abby, and it was like, but really? And then I was kind of like, wait, who's this? Are they going to bring in a new girl?
I know,
and it was like, but my head's still with Chloe. And it's like, everyone was watching. It was just like, wait, what?
I seen it. And honestly, I wish I'd have recorded it. Like, my face was priceless. Literally, I thought they were going to tell us who he was going to choose. And I thought, why are they doing that? Or I thought they were going to leave it on a cliffhanger and it was going to say, but my heart's with, and then go off. And then it showed a shot of Chloe, and I was literally like, this guy, like, what? He's unbelievable.
Do you know what it is as well? Like, after that, I went on Twitter, and you know how like the whole episode was meant to be about the Lillie and Liam and Millie drama, and all like at least 70% of the tweets were all about those last 10 seconds.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, so like,
I love the shock and the wow factor of the coming ups. And that for me, like, tonight's episode is going to be hilarious because, like I said, it is Toby's world. We are living in it, and he's just hilarious. Like, I actually can't deal.
Someone said Toby is crazy. Mary is better than any girl he picked before. He just wants to be the villain at this point. See, that's the thing, though. What we're saying is we don't think he actually knows.
No, I don't think that he means to be like. I think that when he gets voted like the least compatible couple, and it's him in it, he's like, I don't get it. Like, why me? It's like, Toby, can you not see what you're doing? Like, you're causing carnage.
He is just. No offense, Toby, but he's just a little bit of an idiot. Yeah, like, it is like that.
It is just a moment of like, I don't think he just has like the kind of
capacity to understand
what he's actually doing wrong. And do you know what? I think that's what makes me love him. I think that is what is making me love him. I think that's what I can put my finger on to say that he doesn't understand, so it's all right. Like, he doesn't mean it, so it's okay. However, moving on, Jake and Liberty.
Like, obviously, it was kind of nice seeing them come back together, especially seeing how happy Liberty was. However, like, it's just obviously we know that Jake's been in Casa Amor basically encouraging the bad behavior, and I don't know. It's just I think Jake has fucked it because we'll never really like Jake. Like, I'm sorry, but we won't.
Yeah.
And I can see Jake and Liberty now, like, going to the very end, but there's no chance they're gonna win.
No,
realistically.
I think Jake kissed goodbye to the 50k when he sat the lads on the bed and had countless amounts of chats with them saying, you know, use a single, I've got a girlfriend, you do what you want. And I feel like, to me, that was playing a game, a big game. And that was basically like, you go and mess up all of your relationships, disregarding all of the girls' feelings who were really close with Liberty, his own girlfriend, just to be like, you know what, I want to win the money, because when yous are all done, he's like, he thought it out in his head, and it really makes me second question whether he's actually playing a game. And whether his feelings towards Liberty are actually 100% true.
It does just piss me off, because I see Liberty, and like, for example, the way that she was speaking to Liam yesterday afterwards, like kind of like giving him, saying, this is why I'm not very happy with how you've acted. And I was literally looking at that, I was thinking, like, comparing Liam and Liberty, actually, like, they're both like one of the younger ones, they're both 21, and I was like, this is an example of men at 21 and women at 21, but Liberty is actually just like such like a gem in there, and that's why it pisses me off, because Jake actually doesn't deserve her. And I honestly don't see it. I mean, I think it might last for a bit on the outside, but I think eventually he will end up fucking it. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Well, to be fair, actually, I think it was pretty ironic to watch that kind of moment of fingers, because Jake's walking around the kind of kitchen and Liberty's shouting at Liam for something that he made. It was definitely self-inflicted. He did it himself. However, I feel like he was almost persuaded to do it as well, in that sense. Like, he, you know, he's his own man. He makes his own decisions. However, I feel like from the push of Jake and the other boys, he was making that decision. But we'll get on to dirty Liam in a second.
Basically with Jake and Liberty, obviously it's nice that they're back together.
Obvious.
However, I don't think there's any coming back for Jake at this point.
Like, they've kissed goodbye to the 50k, and you can also, you know, tell Liberty that as well.
Yeah, what I've seen, what people have been saying, though, what we really want to see is them do the headline tweets thing.
Oh yeah, like, the tweet challenge
reveal. Everyone in there needs to know that Jake played dirty, and Liberty needs to know. And
well, because I feel like Liberty's got her girls' backs just as much as she has Jake's, and I feel like she'll be annoyed that he said that. So I feel like more juiciness coming along the way, and they need to do that ASAP. That was on After Sun last night, and Amber said the same thing.
Oh, so that's good that she's. Thank you, Amber. Thank you for saying that.
Because she will definitely have some say in it. So the next couple was Kaz and Tyler, who were originally coupled up. Kaz stood up. She recoupled with Matthew after the whole postcard situation, and Tyler brought back Clarice.
Yeah. See, the thing with this is, obviously, you got to give the same energy that you give to Abigail with regards to Kaz and Tyler, because Kaz and Tyler both knew each other for 4 days. It was like, realistically, Kaz did maybe get a bit in over her head, but she only did that because Tyler was saying that stuff to her.
See, do you know what, right? It's not the same energy, and the only reason why is because Toby, obviously, they had an awkward situation in a triangle between Abby, Chloe, and Toby. And then with Kaz, she'd not been single the whole time, apart from a little comeuppance with Toby. And Tyler came in and was like, I want you and only you. I want you. You are the one for me. There was conversations that were mentioned in the unseen bits, and even in episodes where he was talking about like the future outside together. Like, it moved very, very fast. And what I feel like people who jump to conclusions about this is that they live together 24 hours of the day with no break from each other. They stay in the same bed from the night that they show interest. And it's a lot. Like, it's intense. And although, you know, they weren't in a relationship, they weren't coupled up for a few weeks, and they weren't on the same connection that, say, Jake and Liberty and Millie and Liam were, I feel like he sold her the dream and then lied to her and brought back another girl.
I think it's like you say, like, with regards to the Abigail, Toby, Chloe situation, the 4 days that they knew each other, it was spent running around with, and it was all about Chloe, not about them. Whereas, like you said, like Tyler and Kaz had those 4 days literally just them, like
absolutely.
And it's for that reason that I can sympathize a lot more with the way 100%. That Kaz was like,
because she was heartbroken, and it's like she's not really had like somebody who's come in and kind of give her that kind of, and they were so attracted to each other. There was so much kind of sexual chemistry and everything that comes with that, and then disappeared, comes back with another girl. It's just like, it's a bit rubbish. And I feel like he obviously lied about his connection with Kaz. People have been jumping on Twitter saying that he was just a placeholder to get into Casa Amor and find somebody better. And I feel like my opinion is that he were attracted to Kaz, but I don't feel like he should have sold her the dream at all. It wasn't fair. And I don't, and as well, like Clarice is gorgeous. Like, don't get me wrong, Clarice is gorgeous, but I feel like Kaz's energy is unmatched, you know, like it is unmatched. It just is. And I'm so glad and so happy to see her going in yesterday on Tyler, because she I like this side of Kaz. It's like, you don't take the piss out of me. And that's the end of it. And I was like, you go, girl.
Yeah. She has the ability to be both the really fun person, but also just tell you how it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, and hold her own. But then also at the same time, still be like emotional, and she can like hold those tears until she's back with her girls, and then like let it out, which kind of like,
she's really good. So the next person to stand up was Faye, and don't, because I am so annoyed with the producers of this year, because I feel like they double bluffed Faye and Teddy, because they would have been one of the strongest couples, because they were both staying on the daybed. Why did they do Toby like that? Like, why did they actually do Teddy like that? Like, that is not even fair. It was a kissing outside of the challenge, but I mean, he slept on the daybed for the whole 3 days.
Yeah. Thing is, speaking like personally, I wouldn't have done what they were doing on the first night, doing that game. Like, or if I was doing, I would have like pecked them on the cheek or something. But then that's me, and I think because I'm like that, I wouldn't have, that's why I'm not on Love Island, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not like on that mentality. So considering taking what we can get, I think the way that Teddy was in Casa Amor was like pretty fine. Like, realistically, like he was, like, even though it wasn't a challenge, it was still a game. Like, it was like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna stick one on you now, like, because like we've got a massive connection and I really like you, like, sort of thing,
like Liam. But literally, I feel like I have never in the history of watching all seasons of Love Island felt so much of a heart emotion for Teddy, Jesus, when he walked back on his own, and he had the little Teddy with her. He had a little Teddy with him, and she was like, what? And I was like, no, Faye, no, he's not done anything wrong. And she was like, yeah, I hope she's worth it. And he came back on his own. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I feel like every part of this episode was juicy, right? But I feel like this one was one of the most awkward to watch. It was like, oh, like, I can't even deal with what's going on right now.
It wasn't just awkward, it was sad.
Yeah, because, it was bittersweet.
Yeah,
because it's like, it's good for kind of, it was good for viewing purposes, but then when then the penny drops and you're a bit like, oh,
we actually have to deal with the real life consequences.
I know, the real life like, these are real people, and Teddy's really upset. So I think with Teddy, I was just like, oh, like, and he seemed really upset. It looked like he was gonna cry.
I know. And then they had that like kind of right after the recoupling, that short conversation, and it was clear that both of them were just quite upset. And I think they were both in the process of realizing like that they may have both like fucked up a little bit. And then I think gradually throughout the next day, again, they were kind of realizing it. And then obviously we had the bit on the balcony last night, which was like,
which seems that there's a kind of connection and that it's kind of coming back and it's not fully done with. I think that's because they've both done wrong.
Exactly. However, I like that Faye did admit that she handled it a bit wrong.
Yes, exactly. However, I do feel like Faye is a very reactive person. So if she sees something that she doesn't like, she'll react on it very quickly. It was like, boom, jumping into, is it Sam's bed? You know, and doing what she needed to do or what have you. But I feel like it was a little bit reactive. And if that was me, I would have just been like, well, if that's what he's going to do, I'm going to get to know some other people. If I like them, then I like them, but I wouldn't stay in their bed.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was a little bit like forced.
But I think it's just another example, like I've said this before, of Faye's own insecurities coming out, and then that's why she acts the way that she does.
Yeah, definitely.
What someone said is, am I the only one who thinks Faye doesn't deserve Teddy? She was acting like he did something mad. Just admit you were wrong about the situation. She's too prideful. I hope he finds another girl, to be honest. But that's the thing. She did admit she was wrong yesterday.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's kind of like...
Do you know what? I think that Teddy is the nation's sweetheart of this year, and he is very precious, and he's been true to himself. He's a very, very loyal boy. I just love Teddy. And I feel like possibly in that kind of comment that's been put there is some truth to that, because I feel like Faye is a little bit too fiery sometimes. And it's like, I just want to like cuddle him.
Well, that's,
you know,
like, it's good that he can like kind of, not like, he doesn't need to change Faye, but he can kind of tame her.
And I feel like that's how people kind of connect in that way sometimes.
You know what it is as well? Like, Teddy actually has like the source. Like, you see that thing on the like, balcony last night, like the way that like they literally went from, she was like putting a cushion between them to like not do it. And he was just like there on the balcony, like, do you want to come to me? When you compare that with the way that Faye's with Sam.
Oh, I thought you was gonna say with Hugo.
Okay,
job done.
No. But like Faye's connection with Sam, like I know she was saying like, oh yeah, he's really funny and that, but like, I don't know.
Yeah,
from the second that he tried to say that he's from Manchester when he's from Clitheroe, it literally takes like an hour to get there. Like, and I don't even say that I'm from Warrington originally. I don't even say Warrington's from Manchester because it's not.
Yeah.
So Clitheroe isn't in Manchester.
Don't hold on to our ends. So that's the situation with Faye and Teddy and Sam, the little love triangle we've got going on there. Last, but certainly, absolutely, disgustingly not least, is the triangle between Millie, Liam, and Lillie. Okay, so here's one. You know that if you know how they make like couple names, and like if you merge both things together, you merge both names together, what do you get? Liam and Millie, you get Lillie. And what did we get in Casa Amor? We got a Lillie.
That explains why, because I've seen on the Love Island YouTube they were calling Millie and Liam Milliam. I was like, why you call that? That sounds weird.
It sounds good, though.
They probably knew that they were bringing Lillie and were like, we don't want to like, that's gonna be too confusing.
Absolutely. So, okay, so let's start with the fact that he came back in on his own.
Were you expecting that?
No, absolutely not. I was like, oh, is that how you played it?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, from the second he walked back in, like everyone is just like fuming because they're like, okay,
where's the drama? Yeah.
Also, like, but we knew that drama was coming, but also it was like kind of people need to know what actually happened.
Absolutely.
Like, sort of thing.
Yeah, because it was like, I think that it's frustrating when the viewer knows something and the other person doesn't. And I feel like they played down what Liam had actually been doing in Casa Amor through the postcard. And I feel like that's why it annoyed me a bit with the producers, because they over-egged Teddy and under-egged Liam and kind of what he was doing. And when he walked in on his own, there was that matter of frustration where it was like, I hope that Millie's going to find out everything that he's been doing, because I can't watch him be fake. And it was just, Laura was like, oh, like, what have you done? And he was like, yeah, so I had some time and I just really missed her. And everything that he was saying, I was just thinking about his Casa Amor experience. And I just thought, you're just straight up lying. Like, I think for me, if Laura was like, how was your experience in Casa Amor? And I wanted to be honest from the get-go. That honesty is the best policy in this era. And he'd have just turned around and said, like, obviously I've been to Casa Amor and I've come back on my own because I want to be with Millie. However, there are a few things that I need to speak to Millie about before we go forward. And I'll pull her for a chat later to do it in private. Right, go and join each other. And all right, yeah, she may have shit herself for a moment, but at least she would have known from the get-go that something has been going on. I think that it was rude for him to let Lillie walk in and for her to tell her. And oh my gosh, I cannot believe that Laura turned around and said, who was the connection with? I was like, no. Oh my gosh, this is literally like the worst thing ever. Like, that to me was the tensest 5 minutes of my entire existence. And I was just like, wow. And do you know what? It was really sad to see Millie, because obviously it's filmed. And if you watch that clip back, Millie is literally like trying to figure her head out. She's like, what? Like, you can watch the thought process go through her head of like, wow, like, is this actually even happening?
Yeah.
So it's so sad.
To be fair, yeah, Stefan, you did, like, I remember on Friday you predicted that Liam was going to come back by himself. They've said he just wanted to have fun with his mistress for a few days. He wasn't brave enough to come back with Lillie. That's the thing as well, because it's also like the way that he's treated Lillie in this whole situation is like a bit shit.
I know.
Because obviously when it comes to Casa Amor, right, like they know that like they need to crack on with the boys. That's why they've been put there. So you can't really be that annoyed with them for kind of like trying to graft the guys.
Because you want to get to know the people there.
Yeah. However, like obviously the way that Liam acted in Casa Amor, he's led Lillie on as well.
Yeah, he
like,
has.
This is the thing, like I've said it before, I'll say it again. Like all the guys kind of go by this mantra of like, oh, you've got to do what's best for you. You got to think like, oh, you like that. And it's just like, fair enough, do like what's good for you, but also like they just never think about what are the consequences. Yeah, what are the consequences of my actions? How is this actually going to hurt other people?
I know, and I think that's what it is. It's like a lack of consideration for the girls in the villa who have got to deal with the consequences of that. I feel like Liam's gone and thought, you know what, out of sight, out of mind. Gone and explored his situation with Lillie, which I wouldn't have been too annoyed about if he hadn't have been going to the extent that he had, by turning around and being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to turn around because you're killing me. Kissing her 3 times, like, what? Like, it's not even that as well, but he knew what he knew what her kiss was like inside of the challenge and inside of the game, because they'd kissed each other prior. So why do you need to kiss her again?
And it's, if Liam had got to know Lillie but had stayed on the daybed with the other guys and hadn't kissed outside of the challenge, then I don't think there would have been any question about whether he'd done anything wrong, and he wouldn't have brought it back, because like they wouldn't have done. From the moment that you kiss outside of the challenge, that's for a reason. So therefore, I think from the moment he did that, he should have brought Lillie back.
It's like, it would have been better for him to bring Lillie back and be like, okay, this is what I had with this person, rather than create a whole relationship over a period of 3 days that's very intense and very touchy-feely, and kiss her whilst you've got a girl back home that you was apparently coming home and making it official with her. It's like, honestly, it is just trash. It is just trash. I'm sorry. But like, obviously, the whole situation that happened with Liam and that went down, like, you know, he might be a nice person or whatever, and maybe he's made a mistake. But to me, you should never, ever treat a girl like that. And I find it absolutely unruly how he thinks that that's acceptable. And to be able to come back, it's like what he's done is wrong, but to be able to come back on his own and play down like the producers weren't going to forget Millie to find out the truth is just unbelievable. And then he's like, well, what did he say when he pulled it, when she said that she was going for a thing is,
she can believe her if she wants, like,
but it's not the truth. It's like, well, obviously it's the truth. Like, Lily's got no reason to lie to Millie about what's happened between you two. However, you do, because your relationship's on the line. So of course she's going to believe Lillie over you.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think the producers would let Lillie tell Millie blatant lies, like,
absolutely,
because that is like just like it is like messing people's head, like, for no good reason. Like, at least with the postcard, it's like it's photographic evidence. You can't deny that actually happened. Why it happened is another thing, but like, so obviously Millie and Lily had their chat, in which I'm glad that they did that. Like,
me too.
I think it was needed. I think because we didn't have that this year of like necessarily they normally do that kind of brunch thing with like the other woman type of thing, like, and they're both inside the villa, whereas this was like it needed to happen, basically.
100%. And I feel like Millie got closure from the situation as well, because I feel like if the producers never did that, then she would have been more side-eyed to go towards and back towards him and been like, oh, well, you know, like, because I think it's easier for her to go back to Liam now that he's sat there like a little puppy on his own. Whereas it obviously she would have been like, no, I'm finished with, if obviously Lily was in the villa. So she obviously, I feel like the producers needed to do that to kind of consolidate what had happened, so that she can just be like, do you know what? I'm not here for that. And she said a very good point that she wouldn't accept it on the outside. So why on earth is she going to deal with it inside of Love Island? It's no excuse. And to be fair, it's quite frankly disgusting.
In the words of Chloe, she's not going to be taken for a prick. No way.
No way.
No, it's good to see that.
It is.
And I don't know whether Millie will win or what her story holds. Hopefully she can hopefully she has a rest of the nice like Love Island experience.
Me too.
However, I think the thing that's nice is that like we do know that when she comes out, she's gonna be greeted with so much like
love and support.
And like she is literally, I said before that like she could be like they were gonna be the new Molly May and Tommy, but he fumbled it. She can still be like Molly May Steers, let's be honest. Like
Molly May with a hot girl summer.
Exactly.
As a single girl. Because I feel like she really is kind of, I feel like everyone's took a really strong liking to her before kind of the lads went to Casa Amor. But I feel like even if you didn't have a strong kind of feeling of love towards Millie before, you definitely do now. Like, just to see her heartbroken, it's not nice to see any girl feel like that. Especially with somebody who really likes them. So
you know what though, it's annoying because I don't feel we could orchestrate this, but I would like for Millie and Liam to get back together, them win it, and then she steal the 50K.
Wow.
But the thing is, we could never orchestrate that because first of all, you could never get Millie and Liam to get back together. Like really, you could never really get everyone to actually vote them to win. And then even then, you can't orchestrate it so that she gets the card. Like
I know. So
but
it was a great idea, but it would never.
But producers, if you can think of a way to make that happen, please. Like,
absolutely.
But I suppose like tomorrow or tonight's episode, the main focus is gonna be on the Toby stuff. So hopefully it's gonna be interesting.
Jeez. Honestly, like it gets me so excited because I feel like, as much as this sounds pretty narcissistic, like I've waited for this kind of drama all year, like literally all year, for the whole season of this series so far, and I feel like it's really getting to the juicy bits now, so it's exciting to watch.
Steph Fainton commented like, you remember when Millie came back from the chat and she pulled all the girls over and she was like, oh Kaz, can you come? And then Liam was trying to get Kaz to stick up for they've said when Liam tried to corrupt Kaz, it was gold. He was so scared at the end.
I know,
like, I understand why he thought like
Kaz was gonna be like, yeah, no worries, just you wait, like come on, it's Kaz. She was like, baby. I was like, you go girl.
Oh dear.
It was really good. But I think that wraps up the end of this Love Island recap for today. Make sure you follow at Pie Radio UK, subscribe, comment down below, and like the video.
And just
tune in 4 till 7 today, Monday, drive time with myself. Yeah, on Pi Radio, DAB, small scale, and all of that. And yeah, that's it.
Wow, you can tell that you used to like saying that, like promoting yourself.
I know, right? It's like a script that just gets replayed over and over again all the time.
Cool, right? So cheers, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow, same time.
We will indeed. See you later.